What's up, Bender family? So we were sitting here talking about, my Goldwing project and some of the work that's been done on it already and some of the things that we are going to move towards as we
trying to pick a direction.
Go with this thing. But it came up that we've got a lot of spare parts lying around that we might be able to use, and
it became interesting that we really kind of got our own little motorcycle graveyard. It's got a lot of things, I guess, staged for when we get around to it one day. But you guys seen this before. I've always kind of been into motorcycles, and of course I built a chopper. We went through that, but along the way I've gathered a lot of parts, and we've got a lot of stuff sitting around. So we thought maybe we'd take you guys on a trip through our little motorcycle graveyard of what's sitting around here and discuss the bikes in the garage.
Yeah.
So, down here below the stand here, Adam's started a pile of his parts that have come off the Goldwing.
Yep.
But what we can talk about is what's going on over here. And probably not the best way to keep a head and camshafts laying around, but they're not being damaged. So these right here, and there's the other one right here. This right here is the exhaust cam, and this is the intake cam that goes to that head. And we're going to clean all these up, hopefully put them together soon. But this head and this case right here goes to Kagan's CB450. And you guys have seen Kagan in the fuel trailer build video. And I believe this gas tank's off his bike, or maybe it's the other one I got. I'm not sure, but one of the gas tanks is off his bike. So we got his bike and tore it down, and it's actually out. We're getting the jugs bored on it, so he's going to 1 millimeter bigger pistons because the jugs, which as you see they're not here right now, they were really corroded bad with rust, and even honing it, we could not hone enough to get rid of the rust. And once we got so far, it's like we can't even put oversized rings on to make up for it, so it has to be bored and have bigger pistons. Kind of a bad thing, kind of a good thing, bigger pistons, more power. But so that is off a 1972, I believe, CB450, and there's more pieces of it laying in there. So come for a walk with me. Let's go see what else we got.
Let's go check it out. What's funny is I don't even know what all's in here. There's been so many bikes come in and out of this place. We'll see.
So this right here is the factory compensator off of my Harley. And this right here is the other motorcycle tank, and I can't remember which one's which. I think this one was mine. I think the one in there was Kagan's. And of course we got an old seat sitting here. These are saddlebag brackets off of a 98 1100 Aero, which was my first cruiser after my crotch rocket wreck. We've got a box of parts right here. Here's an old school highway peg and set of handlebars that are kind of straight bars.
Ooh.
Oh, you got excited there, didn't you?
Those are going with me.
So, got another rear fender here. And then this right here, this is a Hog Tunes amplifier. These are some parts for my Harley right here. Down here below, we've got a set of factory pipes. I believe them are for Kagan's bike. Got some odd and end bent exhaust pipes. This is one of the original pipes that was on the chopper before I changed the exhaust again. We got a front fender there. Right here, we've got a whole box of parts for Kagan's motorcycle. And check this out. This right here is one of the original pistons that was in Kagan's bike. It's a big feller, isn't it? So that's 1/2 of 450 cc's is what that is. And then got some more bike parts here.
Looks like a bunch of Ziploc bags on the floor with stuff.
A lot of people, if you're into old CBs, you'll know what that is. That right there holds your coil packs up, and this right here goes your spark plug wires through that. It goes right up underneath the gas tank. Kind of a piece that you only know if you've been working on these things. And right back there, that there is a spare engine for the chopper. I ended up finding another one of those, and if I ever wear mine out, there's my second. So, and I think that's pretty well it for the shelves. We can dig around, probably find some other odd end parts. But let's go on this way and talk about the bikes that are in here. So this one here belonged to my great uncle Amos. Sadly, he's no longer with us. This was caught in a garage fire. This is not the original tank that was on it or the original rear fender. This is the original front fender, and as you can see, it didn't fare too well in the fire. The front wheel and the shocks and stuff are probably useless. I was never a fan of this wide hydraulic front end anyways. I'm more of a skinny bike guy. So, I know, fat guy on a skinny bike. But, so my plans is to either take this thing back to kind of factory condition. I have the original tins and go back to the factory paint color and go with a Springer front end, or completely chop it out and make it like 9.5 foot long, because I like choppers. I'm leaning that route, but we'll see. This was probably a couple years down the road, but I want to do this one up nice because this was Uncle Amos's. So this one right here is just an old NX250. This actually belongs to my brother-in-law Donald. I brought it over here and was riding it around as a parts getter back and forth to the hardware store, and it's sitting here now, needs a battery and probably a carb rebuild kit, but we could probably get it running if we, just threw jumper cables on it. But it's a neat little bike, and it's kind of fun to beat around town on.
No, it ran last time we tried to start it up. I think you got it
Yeah,
started.
I don't think it's got enough juice in the battery to even think about it.
No.
Not even. It's dead as a hammer. So, a couple wheels here. This right here is Kagan's hardtail frame. We've already done some patchwork, changing the rake on it, preparing it for hydraulic 10-over tubes, which are sitting right there. And this is Kagan's original factory frame. And then that frame right there is an extra 550 frame that I picked up. And we've got another motorcycle wheel sitting back there, and I don't remember what all this stuff comes off of sometimes. But this one right here is a neat little jewel. This here is I believe, a 1964 S90. And I believe the difference between 64 and the later models was the way the intake tube came off the jug. Don't quote me on that. I'm just trying to remember what I read. But anyways, this thing is, other than the fenders cut and the actual glass headlight missing, we've got the ring though, it is pretty much it's all there. So we might restore it someday. I don't know. This was actually sitting in the barn out at my father-in-law's, and this belonged to him. My brother-in-laws used to ride this through the field. I mainly just brought it over here because when I got it, and you can see the dirt on the rims, it was sinking into the dirt floor of the barn. And I brought it here just to save it to where it's at, because it's in better shape sitting here in the garage. And then, not to get off subject, but these right here are 6.9 parts.
Oh.
Yeah, international parts. And then, of course, we've got Adam's new saddlebags, and we've got a couple pieces of Adam's, and then we've got the 2 sets of carbs that we got off John, and Adam's pipes, and then over there's a Harley pipe piece and a rear wraparound seat backrest for a Harley with a trunk, whether it be an electric classic or an ultra classic. So that kind of wraps up where we're at with motorcycle parts. We dig through some boxes to find little things here and there to move along with projects, to give us ideas. Gas tanks are handy sometimes if you're just thinking. But
I'm sure there's more over there. We just forgot about it. It's probably back on the shelves or something.
But that's kind of our own little motorcycle graveyard that we kind of keep around for pieces and parts, and you never know. We got a couple other buddies that are into vintage bikes, and somebody might need a rim someday for a Honda, or we've had some Yamaha parts in. Matter of fact, there's probably still some Yamaha parts in here, but that's besides the point. It's our little motorcycle graveyard. We'll probably pick some pieces out of it for Adam's bike, and maybe the next bike. Who knows?
But we already have another bike that's a possibility moving forward.
That is a whole nother video. You guys will have to tune in for that. Not to try and tease you too much, but we're kind of planning something for our 3-month anniversary of our YouTube channel. So like and subscribe. That way you can figure out when that video is coming, and stay in touch with us. And we'll try and release the information on that video. That way when we get to the event we're planning on, you guys can come join us.
That would be great.
So,
hey, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have any comments or questions, shoot us a message. We'd love to help you out or hear from you. See you guys.